Hello everyone. It is with great pleasure today that I'm hosting the founder and the vice chairman of Aramex, a leading supply chain logistics and transportation organization in the MENA region. He's also the managing partner of Wamda Capital, board member in the American University of Beirut and Abraj Capital. And I'm fortunate to have him as my mentor for the last 2 years. Fadi, it's a great honor to have you with us today here.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And welcome to our offices here in the Dubai Media City.
Fantastic offices.
Thank you. Fadi, I'm going to start with the first basic question that you might have heard many times before. You've started Aramex back in 1982. At that time, it was still a small organization, handful of employees, and today, alhamdulillah, it grew up to over 14,000 employees.
18 now.
18,000 employees, even better. You need to update your website. It says 13,900.
I'm not in the business anymore.
Exactly. That's my question. The fact that a few years back you decided to hire a CEO to run your asset, and the baby that you started in 1982, you're seeing someone else in the organization as a CEO running the business. How easy or difficult to manage to see this happening from a distance?
So the transition process was a very well thought of process. So I knew I wanted to leave. I knew practically exactly when I wanted to leave. So the transition process was a very well planned and thought of process by myself. I had decided maybe 2 or 3 years before I left Aramex that I wanted to have someone come and replace me, and I knew that I wanted to leave. So, and I knew that I wanted someone from inside the organization to come and replace me. So the process of choosing who comes in was clear in my mind very early on, and that's why the transition was a perfect transition. So you transfer knowledge, you transfer power, you transfer networks, slowly but surely, so that whoever is going to be taking over, specifically from the inside, it becomes a seamless flow, as if nothing happened. And actually, nothing happened. So some founders will struggle with it. Oh, the organization must suffer if I leave. I wanted to make sure that my ultimate success is that if I leave, nobody notices. So some people did notice, but just from a physical distance, not from the management and the leadership of the organization. It continued to grow. If you look at Aramex today, the trajectory of its growth, the strategic positioning of the organization is
What are the latest acquisitions that you're doing about?
my successor Hussein Hashim is doing a fantastic job. So I'm okay with that. So the other question that you are implying at is how do I manage by being distant? So I am distant and I'm not distant. So I don't do day to day, but I am very much engaged in the strategic positioning of the organization because I sit on the board and I'm still a major shareholder. So I mean, that is very difficult for them to get rid of. So I'm here to stay.
And I'm not sure they want to get rid of. The more I talk to the Aramex employees, the more they feel extremely proud to have you sitting.
Yeah. And you know, the beauty of organizations is their continuity, that that the founder can transition without any pain. It's so essential, specifically in emerging markets, specifically in our region, where people think that the founder or the leader is going to sit forever. I actually literally wanted to make a statement and say a founder can leave, a CEO can leave, a leader can leave and should leave, and the organization continues. I mean, it's a big statement.
My second question is mainly about the LinkedIn culture and values. I mean, as a company, we take pride in our culture and values. Almost every single decision that we take, specifically around hiring people, we need to make sure that they fit our culture and values. Acting like an owner is one of our core values, and it is the main theme of 2016. And for us, acting like an owner is to be strategic, to be passionate, and to be accountable. From Fadi's eyes, how does acting like an owner resonate with you, and how do you measure it?
So it's the story of our life in Aramex, acting like an owner, acting like an entrepreneur, acting like a person who has a strategic vested interest in the organization is at the core of our culture. You know, in Aramex, we and I have continuously preached, and we live it, I think, inside the organization, that culture is effectively about the people and how the people interact inside and outside the organization. And if you don't act like an owner, then you are not part of the organization effectively. So it's a culture of some people want to say family, and I sometimes have an issue of thinking of an organization as a family, but the bonding process inside the organization, feeling an ownership of the brand, meaning your reputation is affected if something happens to your brand, and what you do affects your brand also. That is extremely strategic because you become one and the same with the brand. So that's a sense of ownership that gets very deep inside you. This is our culture, and for us at Aramex, because we were competing with global, in the very early days, with global giants who had a lot of money, who owned a lot of assets, we thought that corporate culture was going to be our differentiator. The way we act inside, the way we manage, the way we conduct ourselves, the way we feel so passionate about the brand. And if you talk to the Aramex people, you will see that. I mean, there is that sense of ownership. Plus, they own. So they are owners in terms of their stocks, of their stock options. So the combination of owning the story, of owning your decision. You know, when you're an entrepreneur inside the organization, it means, by definition, that your decisions impact the organization and you feel your decision. There's a sense of empowerment. If you don't feel empowered, then you don't feel a sense of ownership. So in the macro and in the strategic scheme of things, ownership is about everything that you do inside the organization. So you cannot differentiate it, and you cannot pin it down on stock, on monetary value. It is monetary. It is your impact, your ownership of impact, your ownership of making a difference inside and outside of the organization. So it's a holistic story. It's a way of life, and that's why you will find so many people in the Aramex leadership today, from top to middle to anywhere. These are people that have been with us for decades. Aramex was built by people who felt this is their company, even when they did not own the stock. Even when they did not own the stock, they're around. Hussein Hashim, the current CEO of Aramex, his first job ever. He graduated from the American University of Beirut, he joined Aramex, and never left. Our chief operating officer is the same, the chief financial officer is the same, and a lot of the leaders on the front line of the organization are people that actually, good or bad, don't know life outside of Aramex. It's good for me because, you know, they think this is the best thing that ever happened to them. So what you are saying at LinkedIn is our way of life inside the organization.
And I think to your point about feeling like a family or a family members, I know Reed is a good friend of yours, Fadi, and here he has written a book, The Alliance, which I know you've probably read, talking about the relationship between employer and employee is more than an alliance. It's not a family, but it's not a group of people. It's a team of people who are working together for a common vision, mission.
Absolutely, and there is a vested interest between in an alliance, in a network. There are mutual interests on both sides. So obviously, when you feel a sense of ownership, it's not only you giving the company; it's the company giving you. It is a totally interactive, interrelational, multi-dimensional relationship that everybody benefits from. It's a win-win-win-win on all levels. If you don't, then there is something wrong with it. There is no authenticity in it. So it's not only about love. It is love that actually you feel that there is an impact on your life, and in return you impact the life of the organization and the people that work with you at the same time.
And Fadi, again, thank you very much for giving us that opportunity. It's a great pleasure to have that discussion with you and to have you in our offices. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.